With oil prices continuing to climb and global tensions driving market uncertainty, what does this mean for inflation, consumers, and the broader Philippine economy? We're joined now by Michael Ricafort, Chief Economist at RCBC. Good morning once again, and thank you for joining us.
Hi, good morning, Angela, Diego, and to your viewers. Nice to be back. Happy
Yeah.
Easter, everyone.
Happy Easter to you too. But how much of the current inflation pressure is being driven by oil prices?
We have seen that
Mm-hmm.
in recent years and cycles, like
Mm-mm.
4 years ago, during the start of during the start of the Russia-Ukraine war, February 2022, when actually world oil prices now, they have the NYMEX crude oil is around
Mm-mm.
111 to $112 per barrel. It's a bit higher compared to back then. Well, we can see that clearly. Diesel is now much higher compared to 4 years ago. But
Mm-mm.
gasoline is kind of similar, but similar to to slightly higher already. So we have to, so now the question is, would the effects of higher fuel prices be passed on to the prices of other goods and services? That's why the government has been coming up with these various non-monetary measures to mitigate the inflationary effects, such as they've given subsidies to the public utility vehicle drivers because they're the hardest hit for of this the sharp increase in diesel, most especially that it would
Mm-mm.
lower their take-home pays. That's why with the distribution of for the past 1 to 2 weeks, the ayuda, the 5,000. Of course, it's it's really designed to be temporary until the dust settles in the world market. Eventually, if there would be demand destruction, because
Mm-mm.
now Trump has been extending the deadline. It should have been today, April 6th.
Mm-mm.
But now he's saying 2 to 3 weeks. So it's like prolonging the agony. Suddenly is threatening again Iran for
Yeah.
a uh, bigger damage on their electricity infrastructure.
Right.
So, and if should there be retaliation, that's the risk. Either of two things. They're too unpredictable. Both parties actually too uncertain because it could either lead to escalation of the war, wherein it could compromise, it could hit other energy infrastructure in the Middle East. So that could exacerbate the now the supply because of the lack of passage to the Strait of Hormuz. Now, if there would be damaged energy infrastructure facilities in the region, so that could add to the supply, the supply, constraints, given the reparation time that would be needed. But we're not yet seeing that. It's still a risk. And of course, there's already an initial assessment by the International Energy Agency. It would take about 6 months or so to repair what has been damaged for the past, as of more than a week ago.
Right.
We have seen attacks on some natural gas facilities in the Middle East. So, yeah, that's why it's very important now that, well, hopefully they would eventually agree and de-escalate the situation and not and not the other way around, not
Right.
escalate the conflict. Because
Yeah.
but now the markets are really pricing in the 111 to $112. That's the highest in nearly 4 years since June of 2022.
Right. Mike.
Meaning to say, there could still be further hikes in local fuel prices in the
Right.
coming days and weeks.
But Michael, I want to know your take on this because a lot of economists are actually arguing, no, or debating or discussing about the situation here in our country. What they're saying that what is the most beneficial the government should do, right? They're saying na dapat daw yung fuel excise taxes should not be implemented. Some economists are saying that because it is not beneficial to all. It would only benefit rich and business owners, and it's not inclusive to all. What is your take on that?
Yeah, true. Actually, there's already a law that would allow it. No, with more than 30 days, global crude oil prices above $80. So there's already that mechanism. So we'll
Right.
see if that would be implemented already within this month soon, because that would mean, well, the estimates range around, that would be a reduction in diesel prices by about 6 pesos and a reduction in gasoline prices by 10 pesos.
Right.
But, at least it would help. But we all know how much the weekly increases have been in
Yeah.
recent weeks since the war
Exactly.
started. So, yeah, that would still help. But of course, they have to do a delicate balancing act because, well, that's provided for by the law. They have to, yeah, they could follow that, given the emergency powers given. And, yeah, well, on further steps such as, say, well, this is designed to be temporary also, just like the subsidies, because on the hopes that
Yeah.
if things settle down, eventually the dust settles, there's demand destruction if oil becomes too expensive. Because in recent years, for the past 20 or so years, it's hard for oil to really sustain above 100. But the thing is, yeah, because of whenever it's expensive, you can see less demand. Look at the roads during in recent days, during the Holy Week. So
Oo.
even around the world, so there would be reduced consumption and demand. So and hopefully also on geopolitics, this is something. Well, the only thing that's different now compared to for the
Yeah.
past 10 or 20 years, we have the Strait of Hormuz closure. We don't have that before, so that's why the other governments, other countries, and companies, they're really forced to purchase energy, oil, at other fuels at relatively higher prices, because the issue now is really supply. How
Yeah.
long would it take to for how long would local supplies last for each country? And so there now, as a matter of prudence, even if it's expensive, they try to get whatever they
That's
can
right.
secure. They can buy. So that's the only difference now. That's why it's like sustaining above 100 for quite some time. Unlike before, it was just rapid
That's
and
right. That's
go
right.
down right away. But yeah, that's why. So we have to consider all of those, no? So yeah, it's kind of complicated. The variables are kind of different now because of well, the nature of the war. Well, the parties involved, and the nature of the supply. Well, the need to secure supplies. Even sometimes, that's a reality. Even if it's open already, the Strait of Hormuz, the Philippine-bound vessels for tankers are already allowed. So they would still be based on world oil prices, since it's still elevated. So that will be the reality. But at least it's already battle half won, in the sense that we already have supplies, but we just have to pay for it at a relatively hefty price compared to recent years.
With all that is mentioned also na about, of course, yung Philippine vessels being allowed to go through the Strait of Hormuz, ano ang magiging forecast, Michael, sa tingin mo sa ating growth, no, for this year? And of course, the big question is sa pockets ng mga regular folk natin, di ba? What would they feel? Would things improve given the deal that we have with Iran, or will it get worse because President Trump has given an ultimatum?
Yung latter yung okay na sana yung former, kasi we meron na tayong additional supply. At
Yeah.
least medyo na ano na tayo, no? May sigh of relief na doon, no? Makakuha na tayo ng supply kasi the country is very much dependent on imported fuel and petroleum, no? So pero syempre at world prices na mataas, because yun nga yung ultimate renewed threats and ultimatum ni Trump na yun, that's keeping prices higher. So dapat ngayon na yun, April 6, so in-extend niya pang 2 to 3 weeks. So ibig sabihin, he's not getting yung outcome na gusto niya, no? Na buksan yung Strait of Hormuz. So parang nag-warning siya ulit. Sige, extend yung deadline, 2 to 3 weeks. So hopefully naman, they'll come to their senses and agree on a more constructive manner towards the escalation. Total, they have been saying na-achieve na naman yung both the US and Israel, na-achieve na yung objective sila in the war on Iran. So yun na lang talaga yung kulang, na hindi na lang nabubuksan yung Strait of Hormuz, and they could already, di ba, exit muna, or di ba, ceasefire muna. So yun kaya pero syempre that's the art of negotiations nagtatakutan muna, kaya tuloy nagkakaganyan yung world oil price. Kasi minsan ang problema diyan, miscalculation, kung kung tinutuok kasi ni Trump yung threat niya, escalate, papunta sa risk of escalation, magagantihan na naman, tatamaan na naman yung ibang Middle Eastern country, pati yung mga energy infrastructure. So baka lalong mapoprolong, it would kinda add maybe months, if not years, para ma-normalize yung mga production, supply, shipment of oil and other energy products to the rest of the world, no? Kaya ayun na lang talaga yung palaisipan, no? Siyempre
Yeah.
yung mga kababayan natin for the meantime, ang mas hindi natin talaga alam eksakto kailan matatapos itong giyera na 'to, pero ang mas sigurado, tataas yung presyo ng 'yan, yung langis at, nagbabadya rin tumaas yung ibang presyo ng bilihin. Kaya ramdam na ramdam 'yan ng mga kababayan natin, 'no?
Right.
Itong Holy Week lalo na they have to save on many other things, 'no? Baka nga iba hindi na nagbiyahe and they will have to kasi bababa yung disposable income sila. So they have to cut costs somewhere else, no? They need to cut on spending kasi reduce yung disposable incomes. Gano'n din yung mga negosyo.
Right.
Tataas yung mga cost nila, inputs and everything. Unti-unti kasi yan parang lahat magka-clamor na magtaas ang presyo kasi sabihin na tumaas yung cost of transportation ng mga produkto, tumaas yung input cost ng eventually kung mapasa yan sa raw materials, sa ibang finished goods. So, kaya yung nangyari, tipid turon kasi yung kita hindi naman umakit na mas mabilis kaysa grabe, yung inakit ng diesel may doble. Siyempre, susunod din yung eventually yung
Domino
iba
effect
transport
kumbaga.
cost.
Oo.
Yeah,
But
parang 4 years ago may template na talaga yan. May measures lang yung government to mitigate that.
Yeah, but Michael, last question on my end. Sabi nga nila, the ultimate economic impact will depend on how long the disruption persists. And you mentioned saving. Then there's also suggestion also by Senator Win Gatchalian, oil rationing. I was wondering if we should do it right now. Para nga sabi nga nila yung supply that we have na until June, July, yung 51 days, mas-stretch pa natin until 100 days or so.
It would be a function of that eventually, Angela, no? Kung kinakailangan talaga, no? Ibabalansin yan Yung mga importante, may darating na supply sa ating bansa. So at least one step in the right direction, allowed na yung Philippine vessels na papunta dito sa bansa natin, na galing sa Middle East, lalo dapat sa Strait of Hormuz, yung panibagong supply, yung importante, no? Darating sa bansa natin, no? Kasi yung rationing, syempre, may adverse effects din yan sa ibang industriya, di ba? Kung yan, syempre, pwede namang pabalansin talaga, no? Kung kinakailangan, edi yun, gagawin yun. Pero titignan din muna ngayon kung magfo-flow nga naman yung bagong supply from the Middle East, no? Kasi otherwise, syempre, it's a delicate balancing act din. Kasi kailangan din i-secure yung supplies natin, lalo na kung wala pa talagang nadaan doon sa Strait of Hormuz, no? Although ngayon na-increase naman yung supply natin, gawa nga bumili tayo sa Russia, yung approval doon parang hanggang April 12 lang yata no? So yun ang window na lang, no? Less than a week, no? Para mag-secure ng supplies from Russia kasi naka-sanction sila ng yung US-led sanctions dahil nga doon sa yung Russia-Ukraine war for the past 4 years. So kasi pag ni-ration yan, siyempre yung ibang industries may have to slow down. Yung output nila, yung production nila, no? Kasi ipa-prioritize siyempre public transport, yung utilities, yung mga mission critical na industries, no? So, siyempre, yung mga tao, actually nagtitipid na sila ngayon, kahit sa mga sa private sector, yung private yung mga individuals, mababawasan din ng alokasyon at lalo nang hihina yung turismo. Mina na nga sa pagtitipid nila, lalo pang hihina yan, pati yung ibang sectors ng ekonomiya eventually, no? Kasi kung mababawasan din yung mobility. Kasi syempre, pag allocated yan, kasi kasama yan sa preparation. It's really yung declaration of the state of energy emergency. It's really meant to prepare for worst case scenarios. Kung kung prolong yan or kung umakyat pa yung sana wag, hopefully it doesn't happen, yung worst case scenarios na yun, pero at least ready if and when they happen. Pero yun ang, it's a delicate balancing act. Sila talagang titignan yun emergency planning yan worst case scenario planning. Kung kakailanganin, so gagawin yun, at least they know what to do. No? Pero yun ang bottom line, tatamaan talaga yung mga tao, no, na siyempre yung siyempre they're worse off ngayon
Yeah.
dahil nga sa mga decision diyan sa nangyayari ng warring parties. Lahat tayo apektado, yung isang
Right.
katauhan,
Mm-mm.
humankind is
Okay.
billions of people dahil sa mga decision din na yan, no, and they should realize that
That's right.
eventually yung mga warring parties doon.
Well, hoping for the best, but of course, hope we could talk about this more. Pero we don't have much time. But thank you for that, Michael Ricafort, Chief Economist at the RCBC, for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Diego, Angela, and to your viewers. Happy Easter, everyone.